Good morning and welcome to your Monday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well and to give you some things that, like balm for the soul. Balm for the soul, that's what I'm going to say. So what I want to do today, good morning Abigail, welcome. You are the first one here today. What I want to do is give you some nuggets from, good morning Nancy, welcome, from day 3 of the Hay House Mystical Connections thing. I always think it's useful to talk with people about things we've learned so that we learn them better and they learn them. Good morning CJ, welcome. Abigail, Nancy, and your names keep rolling. I just think it's so funny lately that some of you show up in the amount of time I talk, like 5 times your name rolls. And I'm like, okay, they must need 5 times the information. We shall see. So, day 3 of Hay House's Mystical Connections was yesterday. And it was 3 hours again of amazing information and that energetic feeling of connection, like you're talking with or listening to people who get it, who get you, which is always such a lovely feeling. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. Because many people, for a lot of years, I've said this often, I've been teaching stuff like this for 40 years. And back in the early days, people came and they were interested, and some were very hungry for this kind of information, but it didn't seem to soak in the same way it does now. I think good morning, Joe Neal, glad you're here. I think we have collectively raised our vibration enough that this sort of information slides in instead of us having to take a ball-peen hammer to knock it into place. Much easier for people to absorb this kind of information now than 40 years ago. So that's a heartening thing for me. Oh, my shirt matches my cup today. So, what I'd like to do is tell you about day 3's teachers and some of the amazing things they said. And if something grabs you, write it down. Write it down. There's probably something there. Again, I'm going to go back to day 1 and that idea of Cleon. You get a message from another's reading, but I also think you can get messages through, like, don't certain phrases, good morning, Beth, don't certain phrases grab your attention? In a sea of information that you're getting, don't certain ones just kind of jump in? So, one of the things, the first speaker was Kyle Gray. And if you're not familiar with Kyle Gray, he is the cutest little thing. He's from Scotland, so he's got this fabulous accent, but he's got these very pretty eyes, and you can just feel his heart and soul. And it's so lovely to be in the energy space of a young person who really has that someone who figured it out already, who got it, right? He says he's been talking to angels since he was 5. So there you are. So this waking up thing that we're talking about, the day 3 was energy of manifesting, basically. But a huge piece of that, a parallel thing, was the extent to which we're all waking up. And yes, there are those who will speak derogatorily about those who are woke, but it's all just vibration and energy, right? So one of the thoughts that I had as he was speaking early on is there are so many people waking up despite, and then my thought was, or because of the turmoil. Perhaps the turmoil is an integral part of the waking up. Might make it a little easier for us to move through this tumultuous time. But it just dawned on me that there's so many people waking up, so many more people looking for this kind of information. So he was sharing some statistics just because it warmed his heart. So I'll share them with you to warm your heart. 69% of people believe in angels. 1 out of 10 of those who believe in angels will report a personal encounter with an angel. And one of the things that Kyle Gray said was, when you have one of those, you know, you know, it's not something to doubt. Yes, your critical mind may come in after and go, well, I don't know. But in your heart of hearts, in your soul of souls, you know. So he wanted to give a definition for an angel. And I loved this. I thought this was so beautiful. Angels are an emanation of divine love. Good morning, Angie. Glad you're here. Angels are an emanation of divine love. And he said, so if God is a heart, each beat is an angel. Isn't that a lovely way to look at it? I just thought that was so lovely. Angels are an emanation of divine love. If God is a heart, each beat is an angel. How awesome. How awesome. He also talked about the people that we're here with. Repeatedly, the speakers talked about, we're not here by accident right now. We chose to be here in these times. And so he talked about a pod, P-O-D, a pod of souls that we chose to incarnate through, that we chose to incarnate with. I liked that idea of a pod. I thought that was cool. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. So, one of the things, he gave some things that you can think about when you get a sign. You know, everybody has their signs. Well, if I find money laying around, that's my dad. If I find a feather laying around, that's my mom. If I, a cardinal, that's someone on the other side sending a message. He said when we get those signs, there's 3 things he wants us to be aware of. One is, when you see a sign, you know you're on the right track. You know you're on the right track. If you're having doubt, whatever, pay attention to the signs. Again, my book idea that popped up from the day before, day 2's stuff. I think that's going to be very fun to have that book write me. I don't think it's going to be me writing the book. I think the book will write me. But just that idea of following the signs. You are on the right track. You are not alone. He said when you get a sign, it collapses space and time so that you are right there present with who's ever delivering that sign. And he said, good morning, Abigail. He said, for the most part, most people enjoy the signs. Sometimes people freak themselves out about it. They scare themselves about it. And he said, and I loved this, let the presence of love, capital L, outshine any fears, doubts, or difficulties. Let the presence of love outshine any fears, doubts, or difficulties. Love that. And then the next thing he said was, ask for help. Ask for what you need. I loved this next line. If someone wants to put it in the feed, I think that'd be awesome. Spirituality is not an independent path. Spirituality is not an independent path. So basically, we are going to be uplifted by the earth angels we know, by those from the other side who support us, by spirit itself. It's not, we're walking the path alone. We're never alone. So, let's see. So then the second speaker was Denise Lynn. Incredibly prolific writer. Thank you, Abigail. I appreciate it. Let the presence of love outshine any fear or difficulties. Yes, yes, yes. So, Denise Lynn, if you don't know her story, it's a pretty amazing story. At the age of 17, she had a near-death experience, which is what opened up all of this energy for her. The ability to know, the ability to see things. She's of Cherokee descent. But anyway, at 17, she's riding a scooter, and a serial killer runs her over, gets out of his car, and comes back and shoots her. She doesn't die. And he doesn't, she said, I remember this piece from a previous thing a talk she had given. She made eye contact with him, and for some reason he walked off and didn't kill her. But he had killed many, many women prior to that. So she lost several organs, she lost parts of organs, but it opened up her intuitive senses. And I've seen that with other people. I know a friend of mine had a car accident and suffered a head injury, and that opened up her. I believe now we don't need that big a ball-peen hammer to open up those senses, to open up the ability to do all these things, right? So she's got a new book coming out, Denise Lynn, that is about how low self-esteem can actually be a doorway to higher truth. So if you're lacking in confidence, if you have self-doubt, she said she wants us to frame that as a superpower. And she gave her ideas of why those things, low self-esteem, low confidence, etc., can be a superpower. She said, first off, that as with a tree, your roots go deeper when the winds blow harder. So it kind of goes back to that Tony Robbins thing I talked about, where easy times make for soft people, hard times make for powerful people. So she said, your roots go deeper where winds blow hardest. So if you've had a lot of self-doubt and a lot of low confidence, etc., you've struggled more, right? And in that struggle, your roots have gone deeper. You are probably more grounded and solid than you think you are. I thought that was really interesting. She also said that you're likely to be happier. A word I would put to that is maybe content. That when you view yourself through that lens of low self-esteem, you don't expect much good to come your way. And therefore, you are satisfied easier. That one chafes on me. That one, thank you, Abigail. That one I kind of struggle with. But I do understand the point of letting go of expectations. Letting go of expectations. So the third one she said was, you're likely to be more competent and get better results. Why? Because you have self-doubt. So you study harder, you practice more, you put forth more effort, etc., etc. So that one made sense to me also. You're more compassionate. She said the research shows that the higher someone's confidence is, the less compassionate they tend to be. I get that too, right? Back in the day when certain things came to me easily, I had a hard time understanding why it didn't come easily to other people. I get it now, but back in the day. She also brought up that old saw of the cracks are where the light gets in. So she said, when you have doubt, when you have fears, when you are struggling with self-confidence, those are the cracks, and that is where the light can enter. She said certainty, when you have that desire for certainty, and certainly Tony Robbins talks about this, it sets you up to box yourself in. Well, I can't proceed until I'm certain. You're never going to proceed. She said, to be enlightened, let go of certainty. Be willing to tolerate uncertainty. Be willing to even embrace uncertainty. That leads to that up-leveling. She talked about feeling like a fraud. Anybody else had that, like you're about to go out and give a talk and you're like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know anything. Or you're sharing information with somebody and partway through you're going, how do I really believe this? How do I know this is true? That feeling of being a fraud. She said it's not necessarily a bad thing because it gets you to reassess. I'm glad you like that one, Abigail. It gets you to reassess. Be more present, be more compassionate, etc. I loved this piece. So how many of us struggle with negative emotions? Everybody's hand ought to be up. She said, when you experience a negative emotion, yes, imposter syndrome, absolutely. She says, put it outside of you. So rather than saying, I am fearful, I am angry, I am, doubtful, whatever. I'm doing doubt today. I'm doing anger today. As if it's something it is, because it is. You're making a choice. Take control of it. So if you put it in that framework, I'm doing irritation today. Can you feel the difference than if you say, I am irritated? Then you're claiming it as your own. If you're saying, I'm doing irritation today, it acknowledges that you're making a choice. You're making a choice. I thought that was very helpful. So that was Denise Lynn. Then the third speaker was Dougal Fraser. It's DOUGALLFRASER. And he does color therapy. So he sees auras. And he says, as he's looking at people, he can see 1, 2 colors around them. And that tells him much about that person. And what he wanted us to know is that we can, and I did it without thinking today. I have gold on. So he picked out 3 colors. I mean, there's a plethora of colors, but he picked out 3 of them to share with us. And he said, if you focus on these 3, you can see how it's going to uplift you. So I'll tell you about the 3 in a moment. But one of the things that he said that I thought was so interesting was when kids talk about imaginary friends, he believes that's angel visits, that they're talking with angels. And as kids, my 2 sisters and I, we had Baki, Shoko, Kemper, and Laura. No idea where those names came from, no idea, but we'd sit in a closet, the 3 of us, and we'd have conversations and tea parties and all kinds of stuff with these imaginary friends. Isn't that cool to think that those were angel visits? Love that. So, he said, you can transform your energy by visualizing yourself surrounded by a particular color. And it was interesting as he talked about each of the colors. For me, they were very movement oriented. It was like flowing around me, and it was shades of the various colors. So the first one is purple. So it was shades of purple kind of swirling around. So he said purple energy is a natural born leader. Destiny, you're on your right path. There's wisdom. Step into the purple energy. So just imagine that. You can close your eyes right now, not if you're driving. And I want you to just breathe in and breathe out. Purple energy. And he said what it does is it gives us the opportunity to ask ourselves, what would a leader do in whatever circumstance you're in? If you want to bring in the purple energy, what would a leader do? He said, take a chance, step into your power, be connected to the divine. So that was kind of the purple energy that he had swirling around. The second one, I just knew this one was going to be green. I just knew it. Second one was green. He said it's creativity, communication, pure joy, moving energy, voice. Voice. And then when he said voice, that's what grabbed me. He said green energy can help you organize your thoughts, express yourself clearly, be bold in how you speak, flow with your words, and there's freedom and grace. So if you're going to give a speech, maybe you wear something green. He said you can pick out crystals that are these various colors. So purple, you could do amethyst. Green, you could do chrome diopside, whatever, emeralds. But just something jade. Good morning, Catherine. Welcome, welcome. And then the last color was gold. I just thought that was, all of a sudden I noticed, I've got gold on today. He said the bulk of people who radiate gold energy just naturally are self-employed. He said they are the people who turn their visions into reality. He said, be bold, take action, be courageous, take baby steps, be practical about moving this vision forward, but move it forward now. Commit to some action steps. Make them small so they're doable. So he said 3 questions you can ask to tap into these various colors. And I think I might go do something fun. I get this image in my mind of ribbon. I might go buy some yards of ribbon that are purple, green, and gold and just kind of play with them, weave them together, whatever. We'll see what comes up. But the 3 questions you can ask yourself are, what leadership opportunity do I take? What leadership opportunity do I take? What is the message I want to bring? That would be the green energy. So the leadership one would be the purple. The what message do I want to bring would be the green. And what action step is here for me to take? And that would be the gold. Interesting stuff. But yeah. So then Kyle Gray did some readings with people, and there were some pieces, some nuggets out of that I want to share. Because again, we can all benefit from everybody's message. So first thing that came up for the first person was, bring your medicine into the world. What are you here to do? Bring that medicine into the world. He said there's a cleansing going on. The cracks, the shadows, the darkness. We're seeing this, right? It's like the iceberg has rolled over and we can now see the dark underbelly. So he said there's a cleansing going on. The cracks, the shadows, the darkness. Don't be afraid of them. Sit with them. Uh-oh, Beth's power went out. Bummer. Bummer, bummer. We've got some snow on the ground. I didn't know it was actually going to leave something, but we're supposed to get to 40 today, so ours will probably disappear, but we'll send you good energy there, Beth. To all the Yoop, any parts of the Yoop that are plunged into darkness at the moment. And isn't that interesting? I'm talking about cracks, shadows, and darkness, and your power goes out. Wild, wild, wild. This is a cool concept to think about. This moment in your life, so take a moment to pause, think about your moment, is an assignment. It's a divine assignment. Do the assignment, then go forth and teach it. What are you needing to learn right here, right now? Who else could benefit from learning what you're going to learn right here, right now? This moment in my life is an assignment. I will do the assignment, then go forth and teach it. And quite a few of the teachers talked about only being a couple of steps ahead of those they're teaching. It's not we're high on the mountaintop and we have all the answers. It's I slogged through that a couple of months ago. Let me tell you what I did with it. Kyle talked about there being an assembling of souls. This period of time is an assembling of souls. And he said it's very important that we choose ourselves first. Again, it's that old thing of you have to take care of you first in order to be able to do anything of value for others. So it is in service of serving others that you service yourself, okay? Whatever that means for you. Choose yourself first. There was one person he was reading who had a lot of regrets. And he said, he pulled in the energy of Jophiel. And we had talked about Jophiel yesterday, I think. But a feminine archangel. Trust the unfolding. Do not have regrets. It didn't need to happen any faster or any differently than it's happening. And whatever aspects of that you have regrets about, flip that around. What did you learn from poor choices you made, from things that hurt other people, whatever it is? What did you learn from that? Because if you take the lesson from it, then that's honoring that thing that happened. If you fail to retrieve the lesson, what was the point? What was the point? So what did you learn from some of those things that were the most difficult and painful? Do not have regrets. Things don't need to happen faster or differently than they do. he talked about expanding our horizons, being willing to receive information in many more ways than we're willing to receive it right now. And that when he said that, what it made me think of was that thing about the flood and the guy sitting on the roof and wanting to be rescued. Okay, God, rescue me. And a boat comes along and he says, no, I'm waiting for God. And the helicopter comes along, no, I'm waiting for God. And he drowns. And God says, I sent you a boat and a helicopter. What do you want? You know? Expand our horizons. Be willing to receive messages from all sources, including sources we don't like. There's one of the tools that I learned that the person who received the energetic download for that particular tool that I use is not my favorite human and has done some things that are pretty reprehensible. For whatever reason, the universe chose to download it to him. So be it. And I was willing to receive that information from him instead of going, I don't like you, so I'm not going to like your message. All messages come from source. The method of delivery varies. We may not like all the methods of delivery, but the more we can be open to receiving those downloads, guidance, life lessons, whatever, even if we don't enjoy them or we don't like the delivery method, take the message. Take the message. The last person who spoke, again, another person with this beautiful energy, Abiola Abrams. And she just did a card deck called The Faces of Oshun, Oshun, who is an African goddess. And Abiola just repeated things that we already know, but she repeated them through her vessel in a way that made them really accessible. So she said, know that what you are seeking is seeking you. Know that what you are seeking is seeking you. And she loved talking about ancestors and your lineage going back. And she said, what you desire, your ancestors desire for you. So you aren't the only one trying to make something happen. Your ancestors are behind you, the angels are behind you, your spirit guides are behind you, source is behind you. We're not doing it alone. All things are possible. We're the ones who limit. Well, no, that could never happen. And I can't tell you the number of these speakers who said, I never expected to be here talking to you. I was in the audience 3 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. I never expected to be here talking to you. But it's manifested. My message is here. It's ready. Time to deliver. Take back your path. Take back your path. There were several of the readings that talked about women in particular being so involved in taking care of others, whether it was through their job or with children, grandchildren, whatever, so involved in taking care of others, they've lost themselves. Who am I? Yes, I'm here to be of service, but not losing myself in the process. So he said, she said, take back your path. Take back your path. Who am I? What am I here to do? What path am I meant to walk? Good morning, Tira. Welcome. Glad you are here. She also said, and I sense this from a lot of people aren't willing to stick their necks out there, to be hopeful, to dream big. They'll dream a little, but they won't dream big. And she said, it is safe to desire. It is safe to desire. Desire is something Source gave us to help us accomplish what we're here to accomplish, to draw to us what we're meant to have, who we're meant to be with, experiences we're meant to go through, etc. It's safe to desire. It's safe to be me. It's safe to have manifestation. And then, Jonelle, you're going to like this one. She was talking about being our best self and daring to own our voice and be seen and be heard. And she said, shine and rise. Not rise and shine. Shine and rise. And I thought, oh, that is so interesting. She was very powerful and very intense as she's saying this stuff. Be in alignment with receiving. Shine and rise. I am exactly who is needed. Who am I not to do what I'm here to do? We've got this false sense of modesty that gets in the way of using our gifts for good. She said, here are her last words. Breathe them in. You were born for a time such as this. Go do it. Another breath. And I will tell you, from having worked with many people who were toward the end of their life, they rarely had regrets about things they had done. They often had regrets about things they had not done. When the call comes, answer. You were born for a time like this. Go do it. Yes, shine and rise. Shine and rise. So, those are the things for today. Put in the feed what was one of them that grabbed you. There was so much good stuff there. So, I decided I'm going to do the year-long program. And so I went in there, and they have this little quiz you fill out, and it kind of traffics you in a certain direction because there's so much content on the Hay House site. There's a lot of free stuff, but the stuff that is included in the program I bought, they help you kind of pick a direction to get you started. So my goal is going to be once a day, something on that website. Some days, if I'm not busy, it might be a bigger thing. There's a couple of videos that they talked about that I want to watch. They've got 1980s Louise Hay with big hair doing her thing. So I want to watch some of those. Because again, to me, Louise Hay is one of the people who really stepped into her gifts, who really made the decision to show up. So I want to steep in that energy a little bit. So obviously, during the course of the year, as I utilize that site, there will be things that I choose to share with all of you. So you'll get some side benefit out of me deciding, yeah, I need to do this for a year. So today's Monday. What are you going to do with your magical Monday? I have a meeting tonight that I'm really looking forward to because it's going to be fun. And we're also going to do some things. So what about for you? What about on your magical Monday? What are you going to do? Put it in the feed. Love to hear what you're up to. Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.